So you'll be seeing the House floor, you'll pass by the Senate, and all of these historic pictures are depicting what life was like in the very beginning, at the beginning of the State House. And your tour guide has told you how long it took to build that, 37 years. So if you started out when you were 20, you were older by the time you got finished. But when you leave today, be sure and take note of the pictures that are along the Welcome Center walls, because that shows the actual construction and where they used horses and ropes. Can you imagine the huge pieces of stone that they had to move with just horses? And now we have these big cranes that finally came down this year so we can actually see the dome. I serve on the Education Committee, the Ag and Natural Resources, Veterans and Homeland Security, and I'm proud to be able to serve on those communities and those committees to make sure that the bills that we pass will be beneficial to you and your parents. So welcome today, Representative.
Well, thanks. We're doing what's called stalling while we wait for the governor to show up. Good job. Yeah. Wow, I don't have a whole lot to add. You are in the capital of the state of Kansas, which is the second tallest capital in the United States. It's actually taller than the United States Capitol. The first tallest is in Louisiana, and for the longest time we held the distinction of being the tallest until they built their new one.
Good to have you guys here. And you got great tour directors giving you tours of the place. It's awesome. So, any comments, anything I ought to know from you? Yeah.
This has to be the coolest place I've ever seen.
Yes, thank you for saying that. What brought you? We did it. It's the best state capital in America. I think they did a beautiful job on it. Are you guys going to go up to the top?
Yes.
Jack, you're in the way. We got it.
A slave? Who says that? Yeah. Why? Why did you say it was a slave? Chains? 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 Yes? This set of manacles is a reproduction of the kind of equipment that would be used by a slave trader, someone who bought and sold slaves, to move slaves from one place to another, from one market to the other. One slave would have his arm in one of these, and the other slave would have his arm in the other arm in this, and then there would be a chain that would go through that center ring where a whole group of pairs of slaves could be chained together, and it would be called a coffle. Okay?
They volunteer to be the test person. Who is volunteering?
Hunter. Test person.
Her?
Yeah.
Come up front. If by chance you come up to a house or a cabin that has been told to you that it is a safe place, then I would highly recommend that the others of you secrete yourselves.
Well, I think I've learned, slavery is much harder than I thought it was before, and, you'd have to have a lot of guts to be able to, go through all of it and, escape and trying to do that. So, yeah.
What was it like pretending to be one of the slaves?
It was fun. It was kind of funny because, it was weird, but I realized, how hard it would be to have somebody, constantly telling you what to do and actually be really rude about it, and being sold, it just doesn't really feel right. It'd be weird. Yeah.
What'd you learn about school segregation?
I learned, a lot of people, even some white people wanted it to not be segregated, but it was really tough for kids who lived maybe, even a mile away from a white school, but then had to even go even more miles to a black school, so it was hard doing that.
Yeah, this is weird.
It says
What does it say? Civil Rights Act signed into law. Mick, read it, please.
They require equal access to public places, facilities, and accommodations and outlaw discrimination.
And what's that word? You know that word. Employment. Good. So what is it saying with 1964? Listen.
There's public places,
Now-
facilities, and accommodations.
Good. So what do you want to answer for that one?
No
Public
discrimination.
facilities.
No discrimination. I don't know what number it is because I don't have the sheet in front of me. It said 1964, the Civil Rights Act signed into law. And what did it change?
No more discrimination.
Hi, we brought the kids at Lakewood Middle School to Topeka today to visit the Capitol building, to learn about the House and the Senate. We also brought them to the Topeka Brown versus Board of Education to learn about the landmark case and process of school desegregation, learned about the segregation in America. We also took them to the Ritchie House at the Underground Railroad. We talked about the Underground Railroad just to kind of give them a first-hand account of what took place and the danger they had to face when they went through the Underground Railroads and all the struggles that they faced. It was just a great learning opportunity for the kids at Lakewood Middle School, and we're excited for them to learn and for some of them just to get out of Saline County, because some of them never had the opportunity. So we're just excited in our Lakewood Social Studies Department and all of the teams at 7th grade. We're just really excited and thankful that they got this opportunity. We want to thank Brown versus Board of Education for the grant they wrote for us, and also the Salina Ed Foundation, and also Lakewood Middle School administration staff for giving us and helping us with some funds also.
I have learned about slavery and desegregating schools, and about the history of our state capital.
What was the coolest part?
Probably when we were looking up and they were telling us about the state capital and all of its other cool stuff.
What did you learn about school segregation?
Like people, like blacks, if they had to go to, they lived right next to a white school, they would have to travel far just so they could go to a black school because of segregation.
What do you think is the biggest lesson today?
That slavery went away because it wasn't right to have slavery, because the black and whites were supposed to be